Please welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strada. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos and leave commentaries and also educate each and every one of ours, you guys are the real MVP. So guys, across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I found it very interesting and I decided to put it up here. This brother shared the reason why the 400 years of enslavement of the black Americans was as a result of a disobedient, or it's a form of a punishment for handing Jesus over to its enemy. Like, lovely, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches. I'm also going to put up his their stage handle. You guys can just go check him out. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. All right, lovelies, let's dive into it.
Let me explain how America was a 400-year punishment for African Americans for their ancestors handing Jesus over to be crucified. African Americans are really the tribe of Judah. And when Jesus was crucified, they were the only tribe left in Israel. The other 11 tribes had been scattered by the Assyrians and Babylonians. And this is why the Greeks started calling them Jews, short for Judah. So when Jesus was born, he's born to the tribe of Judah, today known as African Americans. African Americans are the direct blood relatives of Jesus. And they're the ones that handed Jesus over to the Gentiles and said, he's not the Son of God. So God said to African Americans' forefathers, I'm going to hand your sons over to the Gentiles and say, you're not my people. African Americans' forefathers, they handed Jesus over to the white man to be whipped, stripped, humiliated, tortured, forced to carry the cross hung from a tree. So God said to African Americans' forefathers, I'm going to hand your sons over to the white man to be whipped, stripped, humiliated, tortured, forced to carry things and hung from trees. This 400-year punishment will be the fourth beast from the book of Daniel that would subjugate Israel. The first being Egypt, Assyria, Babylon. This fourth beast would be the longest and the hardest. This 400-year punishment is what God said to Abraham in Genesis 15:13, where he says, Abraham, know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, where they worship wood and stone, and they'll be slaved and mistreated for 400 years. So he said they'll be in America where there will be Christian or Muslim, and they'll be enslaved and mistreated for 400 years. The first slaves came to America 1619 in Jamestown, Virginia. 2019 is 400 years. He said, then I'm going to punish the nation they served as slaves. That's 2020. He said, then I'm going to bring them out with great possessions. So the curse that was on African Americans is now on the Gentiles. And that's why things haven't been the same since 2020. But getting back to when, after African Americans' forefathers, the tribe of Judah, handed Jesus over, 40 years later, Rome destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD. And African Americans, the tribe of Judah, escaped into Africa. Now, Lot had escaped into the Middle East, or had been living in the Middle East. Well, God then raised the Muslim conquest to push him out of the Middle East and get him in Africa. Some had escaped into Europe, had been living in Europe, and been enslaved in Europe. Well, God then, the Muslim conquest was 700, 600 AD. Well, then the Catholic was 1200 AD. So about 600 years later, God used the Catholic Church to push African Americans, tribe of Judah, out of Europe and Spain and get them into Africa. And once he got us all into Africa, he then had the Arabs, the Africans, who are Gentiles, and the Arabs, the Africans, and the Khazarians, the ones claiming to be Jews today. They were running the slave trade, or transatlantic slave trade. They owned the slave ships and stuff eventually. But they had us all, once God had us rounded up in Africa, then he had the Gentiles sell us into slavery. And once we got to America, African Americans got to America, that's when our 400 years begun. The 400-year punishment is all broken down in Deuteronomy 28. All the curses of Deuteronomy 28, what would happen to African Americans. Essentially, what God wanted to do was to make them a no people for making him a no God. So African Americans' forefathers, starting out when Moses brought them out of Egypt, they kept coming in slavery, Egypt, Egyptian slavery, Assyrian slavery, Babylonian slavery. He kept putting them under the Amalekites, the Philistines. All the Old Testaments about how he's trying to get his people to stop trying to be like the Gentiles, worship the Gentile gods. Because the Gentile gods, if you wanted to be gay, you worship the gay god. If you wanted to have revenge on your enemies, you sacrifice your child to this god. If you want to have orgies, you give your child to be a child prostitute in a temple to be a temple prostitute for this god. So you're giving up your children to be killed or molested to worship these gods so you can do all these sins. Instead of worshiping the one God you've seen with your own eyes, but he has all these rules. And every time you break the rules, you sin, you have to give a sin offering. You have to give one of your bulls, some of your money. Every time you sin, you're sinning all the time. Then they have festivals every year where you go then give more of your herds to God. So you have this God with all these rules you had to give money to all the time. But then you have these other gods who you can sin. All you have to do is do evil. So God would bring us in out of slavery, in out of slavery. And every time we go in slavery, we go in punishment, we would repent and we'd be humbled and we come back to him. So finally God said, you know what? You're not accepting my word on paper. I'm gonna put my word in flesh. And then we handed him over. So that was the last straw for God. So God would create America to do all that we did to him with all that to us. So we made him a no God. He made us a no people. We didn't know we was Judah. We didn't know the book was about us the whole time. Just like we replaced him with the fake gods. He replaced us with a fake people. We weren't Africans. Everything that we built, no matter how fast we run, because we still have the blessings. Judah still has the blessings that Abraham gave to Isaac, Isaac to Jacob, Jacob to Judah. That's why African Americans have all these abilities nobody has. They run the fastest, they jump the highest. They made all the music genres. Everything they touch turns to gold. When you're in their presence, it kind of pushed you back. If you notice, when you're in the presence of Africans, you're kind of like not on guard. But when you get in the presence of African Americans, something about them just push you. It's this blessing that they're fighting for in the book of Genesis. So God says, you're still going to have those, because God doesn't take your blessings away, but he'll turn them into curses. God's not what they would call an Indian giver, which we shouldn't even say that, but he'll turn them into curses. So yes, you're still going to run the fastest, jump the highest, all those things, but you're going to be in the ghettos, you're going to be in the prisons, you're going to get the worst of everything. So just like we gave everything that was God's to the Gentiles, he was now going to give everything that was ours to the Gentiles. So yeah, you're still going to do those things, but everything you create is going to be stripped from you and given to the Gentiles. Everything that cities you establish, no matter what you do, is going to be stripped from you and given to the Gentiles. So God said to Israel, to Judah, now you're going to know how I feel. Just like you handed my son over, you sold my son into slavery, which 30 pieces of silver is the price of a slave. That's what we sold Jesus over. Everything you did to my son is going to be done to your sons. You're going to see how I feel. So now that curse is over, 1619, 2019, because the first slaves came here in 1619, Jamestown, Virginia. 2019, our 400 years has been over. The curse that was on us is now on the Gentiles, and that's why you haven't seen things to be the same. It looks like they might come back, but they're not coming back. So you see all the Gentile nations fighting each other now, Pakistan and India and Ukraine and Russia and the fake Jews and the Arabs. Everything that's happening to us, you're starting to see happen to the Gentile nations. And that same curse that had us fighting us, now they're fighting. Earthquakes, tornadoes, volcanoes. God compares this time to a woman having a baby. So it comes in contractions to prepare the woman for the pain, to prepare the world for the great tribulation. And what's going to happen is everything's going to be stripped from the Gentiles now and given back to us. The other 11 tribes, who are the ones that built the pyramids, learned that from when they're in Egypt. Used to sacrifice their children, like the Aztecs and stuff, you sacrifice their children to the false gods. Those are the tribes of Israel. That's what they learned to build. They say, oh, the aliens did it. How they all build pyramids? That's because they're the tribes of Israel. They've been scattered. Well, they're going to wake up to who they are. They're going to migrate to Judah, the tribe of Judah, African Americans. And we're going to lead them back to Jerusalem while the Gentile world comes to an end. There is no rapture. That's a Catholic lie. If the Gentiles want to be saved from the great tribulation, they must follow us back to Jerusalem. And if they won't accept African Americans as the tribe of Judah, then they're not going to accept their direct blood cousin when he comes out those clouds. So when Jesus comes out those clouds as an African American, if you wouldn't accept us as his people, you're not going to accept an African American as your Messiah. So this is a test for the Gentiles. The test for the Gentiles in this new world is, would you rather be on top, on hell on earth where you are now, or be at the bottom on heaven on earth to come? That's the test for you. And most are not going to accept it. They're going to gather an army and come after us. We march back to Jerusalem. Jesus can go down and fight these armies himself. When we get to Israel, the entire world's going to be on fire. The only thing that's going to be untouched is Israel. So the Gentiles that will not accept this, them and their bloodlines, will be wiped out. And when Jesus comes down with New Jerusalem, establish this new Jerusalem here on earth, us and the Gentiles that would accept it are going to establish this new world. It's going to be a world of peace, of love, of joy. And you should want that, no matter who's on top.
So 100,000 black women over the last 2 months have lost their job. Let that sink in. 2 months, 100,000 black women has been fired or laid off. Y'all notice no coincidence, right? They are targeting black women, and y'all know the reason. The reason because 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris and not Donald Trump. So they know who the backbone of the Democratic Party is. So they targeting black women by laying them off using DEI, shit like that. And if you a black woman who lost your job and your fucking boyfriend voted for Trump, you need to kick his ass out immediately, because he the reason why you got fired from your job. But let that sink in, y'all. Ain't no other race group, none at all, lost this many jobs in 2 months. They are targeting our sisters, but yet they want to lay off our sisters so they can go home to basically a single parent home with most fathers not even around. Now they got no job and they get no support from the black man, but yet they are being targeted like this. 100,000, y'all, that's a lot of fucking jobs. But yet us black people sit on these platforms and worried about what Diddy doing, or what this celebrity doing, or what this celebrity doing, standing in line all for motherfuckers to see these celebrities. But yet black women is being targeted right in front of our face by them using DEI. It just don't make no sense. These are educated black women who went to college, did 4 years, did everything right, worked themselves up to the top, and now they are easily being laid off. And they say this is going to continue, it's not going to stop. So what we going to do? What are we going to do to make sure our sisters, our black women, survive in this Trump era? Because they are being targeted, as you can see. And for the 8% of black women who voted for Trump, this what you voted for? Like, for real, this what you voted for. You want to be on a plantation so much that you will be happy to see your black sisters lose their jobs, lose their income, lose a way to take care of their family. You happy with that, 8%ers? But I'm just saying, y'all, they are targeting our sisters, and I don't like this shit. And then when a black man do go get some money, the first he go do is look around and see if he can find him a snow bunny. So I'm trying to get people to realize that they are targeting black women, y'all. 100,000 jobs they have lost in just 2 months. And they say it's gonna get worse. So if you're a black woman, like for real, and you voted, and your boyfriend voted for Trump, you need to get that motherfucker out your life immediately. He has nothing positive that can help your life at all. Nothing at all. But just keep fighting, y'all. Keep fighting. 3.5 more years of this shit, and we get this clown and his administration out the fucking way. But they not finna target just black women. I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm not gonna let that happen.
Black men, we have a responsibility. Not just to ourselves and not just to the next generation, but to the very soul of our people. Black women. For centuries, this country has tried to erase her worth. America built itself by exploiting her labor, silencing her voice, and hypersexualizing her body, only to turn around and call her angry, loud, and unworthy of love. They used her, broke her, and then had the audacity to blame her for the cracks. But here's the truth that they will never tell you. Black women nursed this nation when white women couldn't. They organized the movements while others took credit. They held the family together when the system tried to rip it apart. They birthed not just our babies, but our culture, our rhythm, and our resistance. She is not just our partner. She is our origin, our protection, our power. And yet she's the most disrespected, unprotected, and neglected person in this country. Just like Malcolm X warned us. And far too often, we, black men, have been silent about it, or worse, contributed to it. Some of us mock her features while we praise them on other women. We judge her strength while we benefit from it. We expect her to fight for us, march for us, love us through the trauma. But when it's time to return the favor, we vanish. That has to stop now, y'all. Because when they come for her, they're coming for the foundation. When they attack her identity, they're attacking our legacy. And if we don't defend her now, we are risking the death of something much bigger. The future of black unity. We cannot afford to lose her. Not to Eurocentric beauty standards, not to systemic misogyny, not to our own silence. So black men, this is our moment. Protect her. Uplift her. Speak life into her. Shut down the jokes, the disrespect, the false narratives. Stand beside her in public and behind her when she leads. Because if we ever hope to be kings, we better start by honoring the queens who raised us, loved us, fought for us, even when the world didn't.
I've heard about a story like this before, but I think it's a very different version of what the brother in the said video I stitched now is talking about. Like, his own version was the fact that, okay, African Americans handed Jesus over, or let's just say black people handed Jesus over to these pine-colored people, and they were raped. They crucified him, and because of that, African Americans or black people have to go through 400 years of enslavement or suffering, chattel slavery, and all of that. But the other version that I know about, which I heard from my favorite TikToker, I think her name is, like, I know her as My Guy. I don't know if you guys know about this lady. Just type My Guy girl, you will see her pop up on your For You on TikTok. Her own version was different from this said version I put up here. Her own version, she talked about how the 400 years of enslavement of black people was as a result of black people disobeying God. Disobeying God, going against God's will, and as a result of, because I read somewhere in the Bible where in the Bible, most of these Spancolor people who translated the Bible made us to believe that people in the Bible are actually pan-colored, but no, all of those people in the Bible are black people, according to history and according to some research I've made. And in the said story of how enslavement came about was as a result of black people disobeying God's command. Some of them even goes as far as to worship idol. Some of them even go as far as to start calling something they put up God. Some of them even went as far as to make the moon or the star their God. And because of that, God was so angry with black people, and he laid a curse on them that some strange people will come take your house, take your wife, your children, and all of that. They're going to take hold of all the inheritance that you inherited from your father, which is God. So that is another version or another version of what I heard, which resulted to some group of pan-colored people coming to Africa to enslave people because of the prophecy. It's as a result of maybe the sins that we committed then, our ancestors committed. They were so disobedient, and now God was so angry. God, who was actually protecting them, decided that he was not going to protect them anymore. He gave rooms for pan-colored people to come invade, take away their land, properties, and everything, claim their lands, And now, after Putin reviewed its words and everything is just being out there in the open, it's as if the curses are being lifted up. Because right now, Ibrahim Traore of the Burkina Faso wants a joint United States of Africa. So many black people are getting awakened. There are so many revolutions there, like a lot. A whole lot is going on right now, and I believe the brother, that said it's as if the curses are being relieved or are being lifted, and all of a sudden people are beginning to know the truth. Not a lot of people actually knew that Jesus was a black person. Even till date, people still do not want to believe that Jesus was a black man. But they made it look like, oh, it's a man with blue eyes, very straight hair, like this fake hair I'm wearing. But actually, Yeshua, the way he was described in the Bible, the description does not fit an European man. So, and this all began with Putin revealing his words and telling people that, okay, the world, I want to tell you guys that Jesus is actually a black man. I am going, even to date, this man worship a black Madonna. If I can't get the pronunciation, please help me in the comment section. So, lovelies, what do you think about this teach I was able to put together? Have you come across this before? Have you heard another different version of the story? Leave me in your thought in the comment section. Please subscribe to this channel. Check out this dude I stitch his video. I left his watermark so that you can easily go check him out. Share your thoughts. And if you've not subscribed to this channel, do your baby girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button. Like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.